and welcome to Savagely Delightful, a podcast exposing the schadenfreude nature in all of us. Each week, your co-hosts John and Christy will be coming at you with different stories of people making the kind of dumb mistakes that we all just love to hear about. Hello, everybody, and welcome back.
I'm John.
And I'm Christy.
And this is Savagely Delightful.
And it has been a while for us. A couple weeks now.
Yep, episode 19 coming in 2 weeks late.
Well, not late for everybody else, but we're recording actually current instead of pre-recording from the wedding and honeymoon and everything else. So
Which was phenomenal.
It was.
Everything on the wedding almost went off without a hitch.
Yeah, pretty close.
It was a gorgeous barn wedding, and everything, went really well, except for, whenever we went to go cut the cake, no one took, the cutting utensils out of the box.
Yeah.
And so I walk over to the DJ, and I'm like, hey, we're about to, go cut the cake and stuff.
And we said in a couple minutes, too.
Yeah, so we get everything set up, and as soon as I told him that, he just starts playing the music and gets on the mic and goes, all right, we're going to start the cake cutting ceremony now. And so Christy and I just, speed run over there, and we're like, oh, shit.
Panicking looks at each other like, uh-oh.
It's still in the box. And so we're trying to rip this plastic box open and get these twist ties off of the knife and the, what's it called?
I don't even know.
The serving triangle.
Thing. Whatever. Yeah. I'm never going to use it again, basically.
No, but we did not get, a single good picture out of cutting the cake because we were just panicking the whole time.
Yeah, and even my face, the one picture that we have of us cutting the cake, my face, you can see the sheer panic on my face. It is not great, but
it was honestly perfect.
It was great.
We had such a fun time. We had so many friends and family come out and support us, and it was phenomenal. Honestly, couldn't have asked.
But a rush. It was so fast.
It did. Well, we've been planning this for 9-10 months, and so as soon as it became time, the whole day just flew by in an instant.
Yeah.
I mean, it took Christy and I 30 minutes to get cake, and it was the last 2 slices of the cake they were serving.
Yeah.
We were on one side of the barn, and it's about a 10-second walk to one side of the barn to the other.
If that.
Yeah, it took us 30 minutes, because we're at one side of the barn, and we try to go get some cake. Some friends and family stop us, and they want to talk and talk and talk, which is awesome. We loved it. But we were like, hey, we're going to go get some cake now, because we're pretty hungry. Take about 2 or 3 steps, and then some more friends and family stop us, and they wanted to talk. And we're like, oh, yeah. We keep talking. And that happened 2 more times. We only got about 3 feet into the building. And then at the 3rd time, the first people we talked to came around with the last 2 slices of cake and was like, hey, we know you guys wanted this, so here you go. And it was our excuse to get our cake and go sit down.
Lifesavers.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah and Sam, if you ever happen to listen to this.
It was quite crazy, though. Everyone wanted to talk to us, and I wanted to talk to all the extended family and friends, but you only get 5-minute conversations with everybody. And
it especially makes it tough, too, when, John has family that comes in from out of state.
Yeah.
And so wanting
Texas,
to talk
Florida.
to all of them, and just not having the time of day, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they wanted to catch up and sit down for the 2 hours that we usually do. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? Okay, next.
Yeah, it was terrible in that aspect, but wonderful to see all the love and support we have.
Yeah, and everyone that's gone through a wedding knows how it is.
They know.
So they don't feel bad, or at least I hope they don't feel bad.
The only part that I get worried that the person would feel bad is, kids. Because we had a couple kids at our wedding that normally when I'm with them, I spend time with them and I play with them.
I mean, I did too last time.
Yeah, you normally do too. Yeah. I'm just saying, with the wedding, I'm afraid that they're going to see that and be like, oh, they don't even care.
How old were they?
I mean, I know. I'm just saying, in a child's mind, they don't process it like that yet.
Yeah, I get that.
But
it was fun. We had our dogs there. We had a whole bunch of love there. It was awesome.
Yep.
And then the honeymoon. Oh, man. We shameless plug. We went to the Gran Paraiso, an Iberostar hotel chain. Well, resort.
It's not a shameless plug when it's not for us.
Oh, that's true. It was still awesome.
Yeah, Gran Paraiso.
And we went to Mexico. Mm-hmm. Went to
Riviera Maya.
Cancun and then Riviera Maya, yeah. And it was phenomenal.
Absolutely beautiful. Everybody there is so unbelievably nice.
Mm-hmm. And you would think it was like this at a touristy resort, but everyone there spoke English. So if you don't know a lick of Spanish, that's totally fine. Yeah. Everybody knows English, even the cab drivers. It's totally fine.
Yeah, and even when you would have somebody that had, like, less experience with English, they still made it super easy to communicate what you needed.
Yep. But we went snorkeling with some fish down in Shell Ha on the Lazy River. Mm-hmm. Went and saw the fifth wonder of the world, Chichen Itza. I
feel like every time we've said it, it's changed to a different number. Because I thought it was the 7th.
No, there's 7 wonders of the world, but Chichen Itza is the 5th of those 7.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's one of the 7.
Yeah, it's one of the 7. We took our pictures. We saw all of the pyramids, the what was it? The warriors, the building of 100 warriors or something like that. Something like that. It was really awesome. And then the one place that looks like it's meant for sports has the 2 hoops that are horizontal on each side of the walls, like an El Dorado.
It's like the ball court or something.
We were standing inside of it, It was awesome. We had such a fun time. Took so many pictures. It was something that words can't describe.
It was a fun time and a trying time for me. I get motion sickness so bad, and so the plane ride there, like 5 hours altogether, and then when we were there doing the excursions for Shell Ha and for Chichen Itza, was the first one, Shell Ha, was an hour and a half away, and then Chichen Itza was 2.5 hours away. So those 2 days...
On bumpy roads.
Yeah. So those 2 days, I felt like hell, basically, and the day that we got there. So it was like 3 of our 5 days, basically, but
well worth the unlimited drinks by the poolside and...
Still gorgeous,
playing in the ocean.
Yeah. And no work. What?
And what?
No work.
Yeah, that's always
Always
nice.
a plus.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But now we're back and ready to get into it.
Back, getting into the swing of things, and right. I'm going to be recording now much more current than we have been. Just trying to make up for everything, so.
You ready?
I think we are good and ready.
All right. So for my first story on episode 19.
What you got?
This was submitted by Anonymous.
Oh, ooh. Dun dun dun.
Like the conspiracy group.
Yeah.
I wish. That'd be awesome.
God, the whole group just... Please don't.
They want to say anonymous, but they're right. So this happened in 3rd grade, but I still think about it more than any other childhood memory. Yes. So I figured I would share.
Oh, share it away.
This actually, sorry to interrupt again, but like this reminds me of like my first childhood memory. The very first dream I ever had and remembered in kindergarten.
Oh, yeah. I think that you've already shared that on the podcast.
The blueberry pancakes rolled out? Okay, never mind, my bad.
Pretty sure.
But they continue and said, I didn't do my homework one day, like most days, and my teacher was understandably fed up with me.
The dog ate it again.
Yeah, in 3rd grade.
My dog has got a knack for paper.
She wrote a letter to my mom to inform her that I hadn't completed my homework, and I was to get it signed by the next day. For some backstory, I spent a lot of my childhood grounded, quote unquote. I was quite a terrible brat. This time, though, I had a plan to not be grounded for ignoring my schoolwork. I was going to sign the letter from my teacher as my mom. She wouldn't ever know I hadn't done my homework. I wouldn't be grounded, and my teacher would get the signature she wanted.
Yes, everybody wins. Great.
I went to school the next day and turned the letter into my teacher. I was nervous, but after a few hours, I hadn't heard anything about it, so I figured I got away with it. Man, was I wrong.
Oh, God.
My teacher asked me to hang back with her during lunch, so I obliged. This is how our conversation went. Teacher, I know your mom didn't sign this letter. Yes, she did. No, she did not. How would you know? I'm pretty sure your mom's name isn't Mom. Y'all, I signed the letter
Oh.
Mom. Literally just wrote Mom at the bottom of the paper. I hadn't even thought about what my mom's actual name is, let alone signature.
How cute and innocent.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
My teacher then gave me another letter to sign.
Your teacher's like, this bitch.
Right? My teacher then gave me another letter to take home to my mom that said, 1, I didn't do my homework, and 2, I lied about getting the first letter signed. Now, I may have been the biggest idiot in the world, but I didn't want to get grounded, so I devised a master plan. My mom would pack me a small lunch every day, which is awesome for her. It's a lot of dedication. And she would include a nice handwritten note on the napkin.
Aww.
I woke up at 4 a.m. when I knew she would be packing my lunch. She worked really early until really late, and asked her to sign the lunch note for me. She signed it Mom, so I asked her to use her actual signature.
Oh my gosh.
Bless her heart, she did it. When she left for work, I very carefully traced her signature on the damning letter from the school. It was the perfect plan, or so I thought. My mom has a weird signature that looks like scribbles. I turned the letter in, waited, and again was called to stay behind during lunch. The conversation went much the same as the first. Instead of sending a letter home, though, my teacher decided to call my mom at work.
Oh,
This
no.
was a big no-no.
Yeah.
My mom worked at a very busy hospital and could rarely spare time in her day to talk on the phone. My teacher made me admit to my mom what I had done, and I was sobbing at this point. My mom flipped out. She told me that this is called forgery, and she was going to call the FBI to come after me, as I was going to go to prison.
Oh my gosh.
She told me my family was going to sue me. For reference, 2 people in my family are high-profile prosecutors, and 2 are defense attorneys.
Damn.
Right?
Get it, family.
They got it going.
Shit.
So I'm crying, thinking I'm going to get sent to the slammer, and my life is over for good. I get home from school to find my mom waiting for me, and she grounded me for 2 months. She took my favorite possession, my light pink Nintendo DS. My Nintendogs were surely going to run away after these 2 months. I was devastated. 2 months later...
Not the Nintendogs.
Yeah. 2 months later, my mom couldn't find the Nintendo DS. I never did get it back. But my mom texted me yesterday that she finally found it. It's been 15 years.
That's hilarious. She signed it Mom.
Like, I wasn't smart enough to think about forging a signature in 3rd grade.
Oh man.
There is way
I
out
don't
of my
think
mind.
I ever was in a position where I needed a signature in 3rd grade, unless it was like for a field trip.
Exactly, right?
Which was just normal.
Plus, like, who continuously gets grounded for months when you're in 3rd grade?
Yeah.
Like, what is you doing?
Right.
What's going on?
Well, yeah.
Like, I was still throwing mud at trees and playing with sticks.
This is going to get kind of deep, but I wonder if maybe she had a single mom.
So, thinking...
The long hours and
Yeah.
the extra love with the lunch.
Yeah, there's hints of it in there. It could have been. But... yeah, it can get very deep. But,
Yeah. As
but,
everything can. But.
Yeah, still, like... I mean, I still play with sticks to this day, but there's still, like, no reason to be grounded.
Yeah, for sure. That's funny.
I also remember, though, like, when I was younger, you did not call your parents while they were at work.
Oh, no.
Like, unless it was, like, an
Unless you
extreme
were, like,
emergency.
throwing up.
I mean, unless, like,
Actively.
someone's arm was missing.
Oh, well.
Like, because back then, cell phones weren't as popular.
That's
so
true.
you had to have your parents' work phone number.
Or their beeper.
I didn't have beepers. My parents didn't have beepers.
Oh, they didn't?
No. So I would have to call my mom or dad's work. And
Yeah.
they'd be like, who is this? And I'm like, is dad there?
His dad?
There's a lot of dads here.
They're like, who the fuck is your dad?
Yeah, is Scott Levesque there? Yeah, just a sec. And so, like, as an adult, I can see how that would be weird.
Yeah.
Because then, like, this person has to be like, hey, I think your kid is calling
Right, yeah.
the work phone. And so I totally understand that now. But, yeah, like, you did not call your parents, like, work phone at all.
Yeah, for sure. Especially working in a bigger hospital, it can be really really hard to track people down.
Well, plus a hospital, it's so high stakes, too.
High stakes and just very busy all the time.
Yeah.
But you ready for my first story?
I am.
Okay, my first story is also from an anonymous person.
Sup, Anonymous?
And they...
Don't take me down.
Oh my god. They write, this happened about a week ago.
About a week ago. Sorry.
Okay, he says, before I go into detail with how I fucked up, I will preface this with 3 important details. 1, I regularly misspeak when I am not paying attention or in a rush.
Same.
Buying something at the store and rushing to get home, go to say cheers, last minute change to thanks, ends up saying chance.
I've done that so many times.
Oh, yeah. And then he says, rushing into a meeting and colleagues ask if I have reviewed a document for him. Sorry, my bad, will do when I get back. Turns into, sorry, I'm mad, will do when I get back. They're like, why are you mad, though? Yeah. Okay, number 2. At work, we have recently had to complete several different online training modules, bullying, modern slavery, etc. Pushed out by our HR department.
Modern slavery. That's a nice,
That's what I was thinking, too. Like, I would be interested in that one.
Yeah, because I usually get, phishing, cybersecurity, that kind of stuff.
The normal.
For a workplace to enforce modern slavery, to, make people, not to be cliche, but, more woke about the situation would be awesome,
it's
honestly.
Very progressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so, he says, pushed out by the HR department. One of these modules includes sexual harassment. Basically, a 10-minute presentation of how not to be a dick and what to do if others are being a dick. For whatever reason, this module and the modern slavery were slow to be completed, probably because they were the last 2 on the 5 to be completed. And so HR was constantly sending company-wide emails. That one in particular was important and had to be completed ASAP. And number 3, when I leave the office for whatever reason, I do the 3-pocket check. Front left pocket, phone. Front right pocket, keys. Rear right pocket, wallet. On to the fuck up. So I was going away for work over a long weekend. Was staying in a fairly touristy town, and because of the absence of international travel at the moment, everything is busy. Really busy. Had a quick look at accommodation in the area, nothing decent is available. Sent an email to our admin assistants to see if they could help, given I wasn't overly keen about staying in backpackers' accommodations. 2 hours later, hotel room booked in one of the nicer rooms in the area for the entire stay. Nice. Legend.
Nice.
So I go down to thank them on my way to lunch. Chat with a female admin assistant who booked it all for me, and mentioned how I thought I was going to have to stay in a hostel and have a bit of a laugh. As I am leaving, she asks if there is anything else you need, just let me know. At this point, I'm already thinking about what I want to eat for lunch and thinking whether I have my wallet. Turning, I go to say, no more last-minute special requests, hopefully. Realize that sounds stupid and decide a simple thanks is more appropriate. What comes out, though, is Spanx. For whatever fucked up reason, my brain thinks is appropriate as I am tapping my back pocket to check if my wallet is there. Simultaneously saying Spanx as he's, looking like he's spanking himself.
Any more last minute request?
Right?
Some Spanx.
Some Spanx.
Yep.
Okay, so he says, cue somewhat initial shock by said admin girl and head shaking my HR lady who had just walked in. Probably thinking this is exactly the reason for the training we are pushing out.
Yep.
Thankfully, the admin girl just started laughing and the verbal diarrhea coming out of my mouth, trying to explain what had just happened, let HR know that nothing inappropriate was meant by my actions. Had a red face for the rest of the day, though, and still actively avoiding them both.
That's hilarious.
Right? But, I feel your pain, man. I do this dumb stuff all the time, but it's mostly because I get nervous and then it makes me awkward. And then the more that I mess up, then the more awkward and nervous I get, and so it's like a vicious cycle. But
I mean, I have ADHD, and so I get like a couple different replies going in my head, and they all try to come out at once.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. My go-to like greeting to people is howdy. I hate that I say howdy, but I can't stop it. It's there now.
Yeah, you do it all the time. You're like, howdy, howdy. Or like, howdy. And then you like catch yourself and you're like, ugh.
Yeah. I'm not some like country bumpkin. Like, I don't know why I do that.
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm so sorry to everyone.
But we did have another story that was similar to this in episode 10. And that one was called Bacardi Contacts and Supreme CBD. And that came from Will.
I remember that.
Yeah, so check that out if you want to hear another story like this.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Right? You ready for your second?
I am. My second story was submitted by HeckingDoofus.
Love it.
Right? And they write, weirdly enough, I've never bought weed from a girl before.
Okay.
Coming out of the gate strong.
Okay. Okay.
Aside from picking up from my sister a few times, but the normal guy I get from was busy, so I was meeting up with his girlfriend. I was at the spot, and the girl parked a couple spaces away from me and just sat there. I assumed it was her, but waited for a text from her to make sure. She said, "I think I'm next to you." And so I walked over, the door was locked, and I sort of motioned at the door for her to unlock it. She did so, and I hopped in and shut the door, normal stuff. She says, "Hey," and I was like, "What's up?" She also says, "What's up?" And I noticed her tone is a bit off because I assumed that was because I wasn't my friend. My friend was texting her, but he said last time he picked up from her, it was awkward, so he wanted me to do it. And so I just flash her my money.
Okay.
Well, she's staring at me. I say, "Are you the wrong person?" And she says, "Yeah," in a "what the fuck are you doing in my car" kind of tone.
Oh my God, she probably thought you were propositioning her for like sex or something.
So I apologize and leave.
Oh fuck.
As soon as she said she wasn't the person, I realized how it must have looked. From her perspective, I'm some random guy hopping into a random girl's car and flashing her money. She probably thought I was buying a hooker.
Yep. Yep, that is exactly what she thought. She will never forget that now. Like, no. She's going to be like, "Damn, I must have looked really great that day."
Yeah.
Like,
well, we got the fuck out of there, of course, and we went to meet up with the right girl. And as a silver lining, we had that situation to laugh about. So I wasn't as awkward as apparently was. So it wasn't as awkward as it apparently was for my friend.
No, you already had the awkwardness down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you covered that.
Yeah, you filled up your awkward bar for the night,
right.
And the night after, and the whole month. So you're good. That's like
accidentally getting into the wrong car is like awkward enough, but then to proposition the person with money, like out of nowhere.
Must have been a newbie too, because you never just flash your money.
I mean, who knows? I
do.
wouldn't know.
I was gonna say, like, I would know.
Like,
it's not what you do. Like, other than getting into a car with an undercover cop, that's every stoner's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, you just get into a random car, because I'll tell you, you get into a lot of random cars, go into a lot of random houses, like, it gets kind of sketchy at some points.
Like everything your parents told you not to do.
Exactly.
All wrapped in
What's
one.
up, Dad?
Oh my goodness.
Still alive today.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that random girl had to be like scared shitless too.
Oh yeah.
If someone just got into your car, I would immediately start fighting them. Like, no questions, just immediate beef on sight.
Well, but she let him in, so...
Yeah, what the hell? Like, do they live in Canada where everyone's nice?
I mean, could be. No. If he doesn't look too scary, like, clearly that is never a super safe thing to do.
So you would let some random person
I'm not saying I would. I'm saying, like, she clearly let him in, so clearly she's not gonna be like, "Oh, come in so I can beat your fucking ass." Like,
that's true. Yeah, she did unlock it.
Yeah.
Don't unlock it.
No,
that's a bad move.
That was also her fuck up at the same time.
Yeah, that's not okay.
That's my point, is they both fucked up.
Yeah. But yeah, she definitely thought she was being propositioned for sex.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, you ready for my second one?
I am ready, babe.
Okay. My second story is from Veggie Lauren.
What?
Veggie Lauren.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
She likes her veggies. Don't
apparently
fucking judge her.
I'm not. I just asked what it was.
Okay, good. Okay, so she says, the incident occurred on Tuesday, but I just realized my horrible mistake.
All right, let's hear it.
I had a small fish tank with a couple snails, now just one,
Oh.
and some ghost shrimp. Gary was a beautiful Inca snail, golden in color, and I loved watching him in the tank.
If you have a snail, you have to name it Gary.
Right? That's what I'm like, I assume that is from SpongeBob.
Yeah.
And I choose to not think otherwise at all. It
That's
cannot
fair.
be
Yep.
from any other reference.
I back you up.
Okay, thank you. We have seconded that motion. It is law. Anyways, she says, I sleep during the days usually and woke up in the afternoon to find Gary had escaped the tank and committed suicide.
No.
He was laying on my counter all closed up. I saw no sign of movement, and I assumed he shriveled up and dried out since I had been asleep for several hours.
Oh.
I was so sad and even brought him over to show my husband. I ended up putting his shell in the trash.
I'm sorry, but I could just see you walking up to me going, look at my dead snail.
I just have both hands cupped and I'm like, Dawn, look. Meh.
He just looks over like, honey.
Yeah. What do they call that? Like, is that escargot?
When you eat the snail, yeah.
Okay. Just gonna throw that out there.
Gross.
I've never had it.
Eat it. God bless it.
Recycling.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was laying on the counter. She brought it to her husband, and she ended up putting his shell in the trash. Well, this morning I decided to do some research, and apparently it usually means they're still alive if they're all the way inside their shell still.
Shit.
Oh, and apparently these snails breathe air even though they're always in the water. They can last hours, sometimes days, outside of the tank. And now I can't remember if we've taken out the trash yet.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Damn, not Gary.
Yep. And
Gary's the OG.
she had followed up later with it and said that they did already, like, their trash is gone.
Damn.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Gary. He was a real one.
But you gotta know, in the meantime, he is having a heyday with all this new food.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah. Good for him.
Maybe isn't living his best life right now, but he's living a different life.
If he can find some water, he'll thrive.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
What's the other?
He sounds like a trooper.
There's the whale. So like that snail is like the exact opposite of like a blue whale, because blue whales breathe air.
What?
Yeah, but they spend about 15 hours under the sea. Right?
What?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because blue whales, I don't believe, actually have, like, the gills and stuff. They don't breathe the actual air. Like dolphins. They have that blowhole. They don't have gills.
That is insane.
They have to go up for air every 12, 15, 24 hours, something like that. And so then they just go back down and then hold their breath for that long. And so, like, the snail's, like, the reverse of that.
I just Googled it.
And?
It says all whales and dolphins do.
Yeah, for how long?
That's crazy. Oh, I didn't look at that.
Oh, okay.
I just looked to see, like, if it was a certain one, if it was the blue whale or whatever.
Like, the sharks have the gills and stuff, but whales and dolphins have that blowhole. They breathe air.
I never thought about them having gills before.
Yeah. And so that snail's the exact opposite. It can go hours and hours outside of the water.
Interesting. See, we're learning things here at Savagely Delightful.
I'm educating y'all out here.
Right? Stuff you really need to know.
Yeah. That's why dolphins are mammals, because they give live birth and they breathe air.
Yeah, that's what it said too. I just don't pay attention to that stuff.
Random facts that aren't useful.
Right? Like, I just wanted to verify your fact because I think that's cool.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
All right, so you ready for my third one?
Yep. It is your turn. Sorry, I was about to go again.
So, this one was submitted by the guy from New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah. Also...
Can I go?
I mean, let's go eventually.
I want to go.
Okay.
I've never been to New Zealand, but I'm obsessed with it for some reason.
Let me tell you, I read this earlier.
Okay.
And this story is a wild ride.
Yay. Okay. Are we ready?
It's wild. Okay.
Are we buckling up?
We're buckling up.
Ready for the ride.
The guy from New Zealand says,
yes.
This happened about 12 months ago.
Okay.
My memory of the night is very vague, but this is what I do remember. One night, I decided to do the heroic dose of magic mushrooms, which is 5 grams dried.
Is that a lot? I assume it's a lot from the name.
Whenever I did it, I did like an eighth, which is like 3.5 grams. And I kind of split that between 2 people. So like not even.
So that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a good amount.
Okay, so we're done fucked up with
yes.
that. Okay.
So they write, as the trip started coming on, I was watching the show Sense8. And at one point, they start doing/talking about DMT. I somehow convinced myself I was living a DMT trip. And I had to escape it. I had to either die or take DMT.
Every time I hear DMT, I think of the late, great DMX. Even before he had passed away. I cannot hear DMT and not think of DMX.
I mean, DMX probably did DMT.
I'm just saying.
They should make a documentary called DMX on DMT.
Oh my God.
Wait, well, they can't now.
Well, yeah.
R.I.P.
Too soon.
So, like I said, he was living on a DMT trip and had to escape either by dying or taking DMT. 2 extremes. They write, next thing I know, my sleep out is on fire and I'm in a van ready to drive off with no idea why I was driving or where I was going.
Sleep out?
I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But you're tripping on shrooms, just driving hard.
Fuck that noise.
Then they write,
this sounds terrible.
I'm telling you, this story is a wild ride.
Okay.
And
he's literally taking us on a ride now.
Yeah. Okay. I then ended up in an alpaca farm right across the road from where I was living. I remember driving between trees with about 10 alpacas on either side of my car. I felt like I was galloping with the animals. Fucked to say in hindsight.
Oh my God.
After a bit of memory...
Can you imagine how amazed you would be at all the alpacas if you were on drugs?
Or freaking the fuck out.
Oh, well, that's true. I don't have, like, any experience with drugs.
That's
basically.
true. Yeah.
So in my mind...
You could be in, like, peaceful bliss, or you're like, why the fuck is this going on right now?
Yeah, I'd probably be the latter, actually.
So they're right. After a bit of memory loss, I had ended up back at my house, pressed up against the shed, not knowing what the fuck was happening.
That shed's gonna save you, though.
Sirens and flashing lights pull up my driveway, and 10 or so armed cops roll in with me with guns.
Oh, fuck.
Definitely not the ideal situation to be in while balls deep in the shadow realm.
No. Oh, gosh.
So, back to your point, a sleep out is a building that is separate from the main house in New Zealand, and it's used for like extra accommodations, like sleeping
like
or storage.
Guest house.
Kind of, but it's not big. Like
okay.
it's
a
not
sleep shed.
Kind of, yeah. Like it usually doesn't have cooking or laundry services or anything like that. It's kind of just like a small little sleep storage, whatever you want it to be, kind of thing.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's live in New Zealand.
Okay. So then they actually gave us more detail and said some extra details. I tried. Back in the story, you do realize when I said the next thing I know, my sleep out is on fire.
Yeah.
So the building was on fire.
Yeah.
And that's when they got into the van and drove off into the alpaca field.
Oh, so he's like trying to get away from the fire.
Right? Yeah, so that's on fire. He drives to the alpaca field.
Well, good.
There's a shit ton going on around him. He comes back leaning against another shed he has, and then 10 armed cops roll up.
Oh my gosh.
While he's tripping balls. So
what a shit show.
Like I'm saying, this is a wild ride.
Yeah.
They also say, like I was just trying to say, I tried stepping into the fire to try to escape the trip/cycle of life, but had a small part of my mind say, don't do this.
Aww.
I also had like 3 ounces of mushrooms in my room, an ounce of MDMA, and $2,000 in cash. So the room burning down completely was a blessing in a way. Luckily, the cops didn't find it.
Gosh.
That's the story.
That's super cool / crazy to me, though, that, like, even on all this drugs and stuff, like, your body and subconscious was still able to tell you, you need to get the fuck out of here, and you need to get in a car and, like, get as far as you can.
Yeah.
Like, that part's super cool.
Right?
But shit.
Yeah, there was so much happening in the story.
Yeah.
I've tripped on mushrooms, like, 3 times in my life, and I've never had crazy shit like that happen to me before. But like I said earlier, it's only been, like, 1.5 to 2 grams at a time, not 5.
I'd be super interested to know how it caught on fire.
Right? Well, that's another thing. Like, what's up with the cliffhanger?
Yeah,
I want to know what happened, like, after the cops came. Like, did you go to jail? Did they just laugh at you? Are the alpacas okay? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, we got more details, but we need more.
Yeah, like, we need to know what happened.
We're not done with this guy from New Zealand.
Yeah, he said that he blacked out for a little bit, but he'll tell us more as, like, more comes up. But damn, like, none of that crazy shit happened ever when, like, I tripped on shrooms.
That is wild.
Ever.
Yeah.
Wild ride. You have to send us details, like, whenever you do remember more.
Yeah, that's insane. Okay, you ready for my third?
I am ready, set, and going.
Oh, yeah, you are?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so my third story is from Tim L.
What's up, Tim?
And he says, this happened to me in 1998 when I was in 2nd grade. I recently transferred to a new school in the suburbs when my family moved home, so I was a new kid in class.
I always wanted to be a new kid.
I always wanted to, but I am super glad that I never was because I'm already awkward enough.
Yeah, no offense.
Do not put me in that situation.
No offense, babe. You're not a social butterfly.
It'd be a sink or swim, and I would be tanking down super hard. Okay, so he says some backstory. There was a Western-style theme park called Rawhide near where I lived in Arizona.
I was going to say Texas, Arizona,
right?
Nebraska.
Right up that alley.
New Mexico.
Yeah. Okay. So he says they had a Wild West activities like riding mules and watching gunfight shows. It's just like a theater and you watch Westerns.
Sounds awesome.
No, that's not what it is, but that's what I envision.
That's what I envision too.
Right. Okay. So he's saying, since I enjoyed reading about and pretending to be a cowboy, because remember, this is in 2nd grade, my parents got me a toy double-barreled shotgun for a souvenir, which was made of metal and wood that you can cock the hammer back.
Okay.
That wasn't some cheap plastic toy gun you get at the grocery store, but as realistic and as heavy as a toy gun could be.
I was going to say, that sounds like some good quality weaponry.
Right? Which, like, that's pretty fucking cool, but then it makes me wonder, like, what the big difference is if it's made out of wood and metal. Like, is it just that it doesn't even have the capacity to hold bullets? Because if you can cock it back...
There's a bunch of Nerf guns that you can cock the hammer back, but then it shoots a Nerf dart.
That's true, but it's made of plastic. Well, I guess there's some guns made of plastic.
Yeah, you could still make it of wood and metal and cock the hammer back, and then it still shoots a Nerf gun, a Nerf dart.
Yeah. Okay, you're right.
Or, like, I had one that was made out of all wood, and you could cock the hammer back, but it was a rubber band gun. You shot rubber bands.
Okay.
But then I hit my sister with it on accident, and my dad took it away.
Well, yeah, don't be a little asshole. Okay, which sister was it?
Lauren.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. That's why she has a scar on her forehead now.
Does she really?
It's small. It's gone away over the years.
From a rubber band?
No, from the wood. I hit her with the actual gun.
John!
We were jumping on the bed.
Oh my God.
I did it on purpose. Like, it just came down and hit her.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you hit her with the rubber band from the rubber band gun. I'm like,
No.
how the fuck did she scar from that?
No, I hit her with the stock.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Okay. So, in my second grade class, we were given... You good?
Yeah, go on.
Poor Lauren. Okay. In my second grade class, we were given a large drawstring bag that one student would bring home for show and tell each week. There were probably guidelines that told you what was allowed and what wasn't to be brought in for show and tell, but I had no idea since I was new. I have seen other students bring their awesome Beanie Babies and Lego sets weeks before, so I had to find something that would really impress my new classmates. You know where it's going. When I went home, I stuffed my toy gun into this bag, which surprisingly fit, but kind of pushed against the corners of the bag.
This story is not aging well.
This was good because I wanted it to be completely concealed so it wouldn't ruin the surprise.
Oh, man.
And oh, what a surprise it's gonna be. Okay.
Shit, kid.
So he says, during show and tell the next day, I went up to the front of the class with the bag and took my toy double-barreled Western shotgun. Luckily, there was the orange tip on the barrel, which, thank goodness, at least it had that to save it.
Yeah.
He says, I don't remember the expression of the class, probably shocked, but I attempted to explain the story of how I got the gun and how much fun I had at Rawhide. When my teacher stopped my presentation and said that guns weren't allowed in school. She took the toy gun from me and put it in the cupboard above the sink. I honestly don't know how I brought it home, but I am pretty sure they told my parents about it and they had to pick it up. Looking back, I definitely knew that bringing toy weapons to school was forbidden,
Yep.
but I thought I had an exception if it was for show and tell purposes.
Right? Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's
So,
like
we all make dumb mistakes. We're little.
It's a prequel to Columbine.
Well, and he wrote on there, too, this was before that ever happened.
I mean,
So,
he said 1998, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously.
Yeah, so, at least it wasn't as high alert. But, yeah, just not great.
Damn.
Show and tell, though, that's a high-pressure time in a child's life.
It really is.
Yeah, that item means everything in that moment, but you really did wow them.
Yeah,
so
I guess, yeah.
That's a thing.
That's a lasting impression.
Right? Yeah.
We didn't have show and tell. We actually had pet rats that we would take home for a weekend.
No, thank you.
They were albino mice, not rats.
No,
it was
thank
two
you.
albino mice, and every kid for the semester got to take it home for one weekend. And I remember when it was my turn to bring the mice home, I didn't tell my parents.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was they're like, oh, John, it's your weekend. And I was like, all right, cool. So Friday, I just take some mice home, and my parents are looking at me like, what the hell is that?
Right? They're like, what have you done? Ugh.
I got it under control. I don't need to tell them.
One of my classes had guinea pigs, but I don't think I was ever allowed to do anything with it. I think it was just was there.
Yeah. There was we had one that had a snake instead of mice. The snake got out.
Oh, the snake gets some mice though. Oh, it got out.
Yeah, it got
That's
out
fun.
in the middle of the entire school. And so the teachers tried to keep it quiet, but then kids spread shit like fire.
Oh yeah.
And so by recess, everyone knew that there was a wild snake in the school.
Yep. Well, a couple of my classes too, I think, had fish, but can't take those home.
Honestly, I'd like to hear if any of you guys have some crazy show and tell stories.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, send it to savagelydelightful@gmail.com, and we would love to hear some crazy some of your A1 best show and tell stories.
Yeah.
If you got what?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you got something that really just wowed them, or a good story, if you remember something, let us know.
Yep, for sure. Or if you have any other stories, send them on our way too.
All of our handles are on the outro.
they're on the outro. If you want to support us, we are on Patreon.
Savagely Delightful.
Yep. And I think that's it. You have anything for closing notes?
I don't think so. We'll be recording some actual up-to-date stuff from now on. Thank you guys for being patient with us.
Yep. Thank you guys. Love you.
Love you too.
Yeah.
That's a reaction. Bye, guys.
Goodness. Bye. So, you may have made a mistake today, but at least you didn't mess up as badly as the people we discussed. And if you did, we'd love to hear about it, and we may even feature your story on an upcoming episode. You can find us online at www.savagelydelightful.buzzsprout.com, on Twitter at savage_delight, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Savagely Delightful. If you like what you heard today and want to show your support, please consider donating to us on Patreon at patreon.com/savagelydelightful. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss future episode releases, and please consider leaving a review so it's easier for others to find our podcast.